The distress beacon was ancient, its circuits barely holding a signal. Against the endless hum of the cosmic background radiation, it was almost imperceptible. Most ships would have sailed past without a second glance. Most captains wouldn't have bothered. But Kale Draven and the Starbreaker didn't belong in that category. His AI companion, Luma, announced in her usual monotone, Valen Dominion Corsair-class frigate, drifting for roughly 72 hours, no external activity detected. Kale leaned forward in his chair, eyes scanning the fragmented silhouette of the frigate on the viewscreen. The vessel had been ravaged, either ambushed by raiders or caught in a skirmish far beyond its capabilities. The Valen Dominion didn't take prisoners, and they certainly didn't conduct rescues for expendable assets. If anyone survived inside that hull, they'd already been written off as collateral. Life signs, Kale said. 2, Deck 3, aft section. Minimal functioning life support, Luma replied. Kale's jaw tightened. 2 people slowly suffocating in the void. He witnessed this before in the outreach campaigns, commanders making cold, clinical calculations, fuel versus personnel versus mission objectives. Sometimes human lives simply weren't deemed worth it. He had been on that side of the ledger once, left bleeding on Tarsi's 9 while his extraction was ruled too risky. A smuggler named Rin had rescued him anyway, sacrificing an arm and nearly his ship's reactor in the process. Kale had asked why. Rin had only shrugged, because it's the right thing. Kale nodded to himself. Prep the boarding tube, he said, and bring the medbay online. Captain Valen Dominion derelicts are often booby-trapped, Luma warned. This may be a lure. Kale smirked, we'll see. The Starbreaker drifted closer. Magnetic boots clanged against the deck plating as Kale suited up, feeling the familiar weight of armor and tools. The boarding tube extended with a hiss, locking onto the frigate's battered hull. Kale ignited the plasma cutter. Metal groaned and peeled away like burnt skin. Inside, the scene was devastation incarnate. The air was frozen, sparkling under his helmet lights. Walls were scorched. Fire-suppressant foam had hardened into black crusts. Bodies floated, motionless. Most were Valen Dominion soldiers, their armor shattered and charred. Kale followed Luma's precise directions, through the mangled corridors. Life signs deteriorating. Perhaps 20 minutes remaining, she warned. He moved faster, hands gripping handrails, launching himself along the walls in zero gravity. The aft section was partially sealed by an emergency bulkhead. Kale activated the override. The heavy door creaked open. 2 survivors huddled in the corner. One was a Sylphi, a feline-like humanoid, her gray and white fur matted, flight suit torn. The other, a Lupin scout, Fenric, muscular and imposing, clad in tattered tactical gear. Both were barely conscious, breath shallow and rapid. Hey, Kale said softly, crouching beside them. You're getting out of here. The Sylphi's green eyes flickered open, faintly luminescent even in the dim environment. Human, she whispered. Her voice carried a melodic cadence. You're too late, the Valen left us. We were unworthy of extraction. Not my style, Kale replied. He scooped her into his arms. She was light as a feather. Can you walk, big guy? Fenric shook his head. Kale cursed under his breath and triggered the Starbreaker's emergency cargo drone. Luma, deploy the hauler now. Deploying, Luma confirmed. Moments later, the spherical drone arrived, clamping onto Fenric. Kale carried Selara carefully as the drone followed, keeping the Lupin secure. Back aboard the Starbreaker, the medical bay hummed to life. Automated systems began triage, oxygen, IVs, thermal regulation, cellular nanites. Luma appeared in holographic form, a soft blue figure moving with flawless precision. Severe hypothermia, dehydration, malnutrition, Luma reported. Sylphi has 3 cracked ribs and partial lung collapse. Lupin shows internal hemorrhaging and early organ failure, likely less than 6 hours from death. Kale ran a hand through his damp hair. They'll make it with proper care. Risk assessment, low wisdom, high liability. Vale and Dominion will retaliate for interference, Luma stated. Let them try. Kale settled between the two beds, vigilant and unwavering. I've angered worse than them. Hours crawled by. Slowly, color returned to their faces. Solara woke first, eyes sharp, green and piercing. She attempted to sit, but Kale pressed her shoulder down gently. Easy, you're safe now. Why would you do this? Her voice trembled. Because someone once did the same for me, Kale said. And because leaving people behind makes the galaxy colder. Solara hesitated. I'm Solara, Junior Lieutenant, 22nd Stellar Reconnaissance Division. She glanced at Fenric. Fenric, first class. We were marked expendable after our ship was damaged. Efficiency protocol. Kale's expression darkened. I know the type, but you're human. Our stories say humans don't leave people behind, Solara said, voice growing firmer. We thought it was propaganda. Half true, Kale admitted. Most humans leave others behind, but we also have a defect. We disobey orders when orders are wrong. We do irrational things, risk our lives for strangers who may not deserve it. Solara's ears twitched. So you saved us out of defiance? No, I saved you because someone saved me, and because every time someone's left, the galaxy loses a little more light. Kale stood, checking monitors. A few days of recovery and you'll be fit to move. I can take you wherever you choose. The Valen won't reclaim us, Solara murmured. We're lost. Kale smiled faintly. Well, the Starbreaker could always use a good pilot and a tracker. The work's dangerous, pay, poor, you may regret it, but you'll never be left behind again. Solara looked at Fenric. The Lupin's golden eyes opened, fierce and intelligent despite weakness. He nodded. Then we accept, Solara said, extending her hand. Kale shook it, a rare warmth in his gaze. Welcome aboard, rest now. In 3 days we begin a new mission and I'll need you both ready. As he left the medbay, Luma's voice followed. You're committing to shielding them against a military force that views them as property. Yep, and this will complicate operations significantly. Are you at peace with this? Kale grinned. Doing the right thing is never complicated, it's just usually expensive. Solara touched the warm blanket around her, real fabric, not thermal foil. For the first time in 72 hours she felt safe. The human veteran had kept his word, and in a galaxy that had abandoned her, that meant everything. Subscribe to the channel to make the stories even more exciting.